the deepest of deep dives on custom tactics and everything that is involved. If you do hear my child in the background, I apologize. So we're going to go as deep as we can, literally involving how to get to places as well. On our Ultimate Team right now, on our Youth Academy Road to Glory, we have managed to pack this at Michael Essien, which is crazy. And we've got people like KDB, Evo Endrick and things like that. But yes, less about that. If you're wanting to find the tactics, first of all, I know lots of you know this, but some of you don't. It's clicking in your left stick and you'll find team management here. Now, we're going to work on our initial tactic, but then I'll show you how to sort of create other tactics and things like that. X or A to go straight into edit the tactic. We've got presets. I wouldn't recommend presets. Suppose if you really don't know what you're doing, but we always want to customize our tactics. Where it says tactical preset, just make sure that's on custom. Anytime you change any of this, it will change it to custom anyway. Formation, if you change it here and save changes, you haven't got any other tactics set up, this will change the formation that your players are in on this screen. This will change this, so you don't want to change that just yet. So if you did, then you would come to a second tactic by using your D-pad or your stick to go to the left to the right. But as you can see by the little yellow exclamation marks, that means they're not happy to play there. You kind of want to get your team set up so they are happy to do that. But let's focus on this first of all. So build-up style. Previous years, if you did play FC or FIFA previously, you'll know there was a build-up style and sort of like a style in your opponent's final third. Short passing possession, long ball or forward runs, you know, that sort of thing. This is for the whole pitch, throughout the whole pitch. I've decided to go for short passing because I like to have my players short. You can always send them on runs. You know, you might find this yourselves. It can maybe sort of lack in movement. That's why I've settled on a formation with two strikers and a cam that sort of gets in behind, because they're already like initially really far forward, so you don't need to do a lot to get them into that position. Whereas if you had a formation maybe like a 4-1-4-1, something like that, where are we, 4-1-4-1, it's going to take a lot to get your team into position, especially if you're on short passing. A defensive approach similar to last year, where you've got deep, balanced, high and aggressive. I really like the aggressive so far this year. It does seem good. Like, you can put in a lot of pressure, otherwise your team sort of sits off, and I don't like that. I'm not the best defender in the world. I'm sure lots of you are the same. If I'm inviting pressure on around my box, I concede a lot easier. So I'd rather sort of nip that in the bud as early on as I can, and then use the short passing to hold possession there. If we press the right bumper, that will take you to the player roles. Lots of misconceptions with this. You can see at the top there it says without ball. If you use your right stick to go to the right and the left, you can see with and without ball. You don't have different roles. So here, as you can see, it says role there. You don't have different roles with and without the ball. So Havertz's role, the advanced forward attack, will be the same with and without the ball. All that it changes is how your team is set up. Said we're starting in a 4-1-2-1-2 with the ball. It's what, a 2-2-2-3-3. So we've got a nice box in the middle. We've got our wing back and then our three up top. Quite different from the initial starting formation. Yeah, so that's all it is. Essentially, what you wanted to do is to pick a starting formation that you're happy to defend with, or that sort of suits your players, has a nice balance to it. And then with the instruction roles, which was essentially instructions from last year, you can then cater the team to how you want to play. Looking at roles then, you'll be able to see there's the initial role and there's also a focus. So if we're looking at with ball, first of all, if you're ever doing your formation, always do it with ball, because then you can see actually where the player's playing. You can see with these green squares, that is where sort of lighter the square is the position they're going to play. If it's black or if it's sort of darker green, they won't play that position as much. You see Trent at the moment is down as a defensive midfielder. Without ball, he's a right back. As soon as we get the ball, he moves into this position. Now with the focus, if I switch that, you see he moves more central, and if you actually see the green square, that moves more central or further up as well. The reason I've done this is to provide more solidity. So we've got our defensive midfielder and Trent sitting next to him. That little bounce pad to play passes off. And then the way I've done it is I've got KDB, who is it incisive pass, so he can spray balls all the way over to our attacking wing back in Carmona. Definitely have a look at the focuses. Some of the roles don't have different focus. You see box to box, you can't change that. With this you can, so you can make him a centre mid, a defensive mid. With the defender you can make them sort of go up to press a bit more, and you just look at the squares. That's what you want to be looking at. That tells you where they're going to be playing. So we've got quite an attacking formation here, so I don't want my guys sort of pressing that. I'm already on aggressive anyway, so I want my 2 centre backs really to sort of stay here, stay at the back, be our last line of defence. We'll have Trent sort of stave off the counter attacks, and we've also got Essien playing as a deep line playmaker to do that as well. If he's on roaming, he's moving further up. We don't want that. We've got our 2 midfielders here to do that. Still sort of deciding on the best. Now, you see for Gravenberch here, his only plus is half winger. You do want to look to get your players as a plus role, or a plus if you're lucky, like Carmona, because they will lose less stamina, they'll make better runs, they'll be better defensively, attacking, you know, the whole thing. They will play better, and you'll find your team is more fluid that way. But I wouldn't play him as a half winger just because he's got a plus there. This is just not going to suit me, not going to suit my team, it's not going to suit the play style. I've chosen at this moment in time just to leave him as a non-role, like KDB, because I think KDB's half winger as well. Yeah, so it doesn't suit me, and that's where sort of the squad building is going to come into it. You'll see maybe you'll end up buying players that you don't particularly want just because they fit the roles. I'd say maybe just use the guys you want, and possibly with evos or with special cards, things like that, you might be able to get players that play in the preferred roles that you actually like, rather than using players just for the sake of it. So yeah, I mean, the whole point of this formation and the tactics for me is we've got Trent and KDB here, both with incisive pass, bring the ball out to the left, and then we've got these 3 guys just churn out up top to hopefully finish the chances. Can really make some quite creative contraptions here. Target forward wide here. So if you see you change the focus, it'll change like the way the team's set up. Quite peculiar things you can do this year. Setting up your other tactic, I've already done that here, called it narrow, just whilst I was playing about with things. So let's have a look how this one's set up. There you go. So yeah, look at this. This is in a very narrow formation. Maybe I wouldn't recommend this. Gonna need some width. Carmona would bum on up there, something like that. So essentially what you do, please, for the love of God, don't press triangle, because if you're pressing triangle on this tactic, that will activate and that will change your formation if you go back into your squad screen. So don't press that. All you would need to do when you get into the game, press left on your D-pad. That will bring up all of your tactics here, and then you would just click the arrow that it's suggesting. It will take maybe 10 seconds, something like that, and then you'll change into this formation. If you see under where it says default tactic, I can use a code here to input someone's tactic. Do feel free. I wouldn't recommend taking that one, but this one feels pretty good for me right now. So you could take that tactic, come to your tactic screen, import the code, and boom, you have that with your team on the game. You can then create a new tactic if you want, enter the name. Maybe like last year, you can have 4 to 5. I'm not sure exactly on how many. And you've got the assignment. So I think it was called roles previously, but obviously now we've got roles in terms of the instructions, what it was. I don't want to confuse that so much. So we got assignments, can say how and where people are positioned from corners, obviously captain, right corner, left corner, all that jazz. I assume as the year goes on, particularly with evolution, there'll be lots of chance to get role plus and role plus pluses on different cards, so definitely have a look out for that. I would say, like, I've got wingers here like Yamal who can't currently play in my squad, but maybe it's good to have on the bench just in case you're struggling in the game and you need to change it up. These roles, as I said, they are pretty much identical to instructions. I will try and put the link in the description, because there is on the EA website, they do essentially say the attack focus, which again you've got down there, attacking runs, support centrally, but it also says other characteristics, which I believe is their way of sort of referencing it back to last year. So it says stay forward, get in the box, and slow to come back. So your shadow striker will be obviously staying forward, get into the box, slow to come back. So you do have to bear that in mind with the without ball, like this Cam now, because he's on shadow striker, he won't drop back to help. I believe if you were to change him to like a playmaker, he will then come back, and maybe that would defend similar to a 4-4-2 like previous years. The other characteristics on EA's website for the poacher, getting behind, stay forward, and slow to come back. So again, that will be similar to previous years, just getting behind as soon as you get the ball, which is quite helpful. So maybe bear that in mind. Take a look at EA's website, but I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully that sums up the tactics for you. If you're still confused about anything, I'll address it in the comments. Yeah, like if you have liked, and catch you later, guys.